allegations, all of which had been corroborated independently by at least two of our sources. Minutes later, our phone started beeping with New York Times and Associated Press news alerts, telling the entire world what we had been hearing for days. That evening was a little more than 6 months away from the election day. And until that night, the pollsters projected me comfortably ahead of a relatively unknown challenger in Montana. Until that night, the President of the United States really had no idea who I was. And he hadn't spent much time concerned with my second campaign to be reelected as a U.S. Senator. Then, the next morning, with the Senate confirmation hearing still on the horizon, Dr. Jackson removed himself from consideration, sparing himself from having to answer tough questions under oath. Minutes later, the President phoned in to Fox and Friends and started attacking me. I watched what Jon Tester of Montana, a state that I won by over 20 points, Trump said. You know, really, they love me and I love them. And I want to tell you that Jon Tester, I think this is going to cause him a lot of problems in his state. The next day, during an appearance with Chancellor Angela Merkel, the President railed on me again, suggesting my constituents in Montana weren't going to put up with it. And early Saturday morning, as I was planting wheat on my farm outside Big Sandy, Montana, my chief of staff called to tell me that the President had taken his beef with me to Twitter. Now the President of the United States, humiliated by his own poor vetting, was after me, a Democrat in a bright red state up for re-election. He made it personal. He was calling on me to resign. So why did I make the accusations public? Why did I risk my entire political career on a move that resulted in the full wrath of a president who made history in our sparsely populated state by barnstorming there 4 times before the election day? I did it because it was my duty. Everything I learned about political service, from my earliest days as student body president of Big Sandy High School to the president of the Montana Senate, taught me that if I ignored serious and unanswered allegations, I wouldn't be doing my job. And I would do it all over again, even if it cost me my political career. But it didn't. And today I'm one of the few citizens of this nation who has successfully held Donald Trump accountable without suffering politically for it. In fact, on November 6, 2018, a majority of Montana voters, including 7% of self-identified Republicans, sent me back to the Senate for 6 more years, despite the president's full-throated attempt to exact political revenge. He was right. Montanans do love President Trump. They had supported him over Hillary Clinton overwhelmingly 2 years earlier. Trump, to many Montanans, was exactly what Washington needed, a straight-talking antithesis of the establishment politician who seemed to resonate with rural America. He was seemingly eager to fix everything broken with our political system with simple common sense. They saw Trump's willingness to say whatever was on his mind as authentic. To many of his supporters, Trump's ethical and moral foibles, his inflammatory rhetoric, and his bombastic handling of our economic and national security are either excusable or overblown or both. But I see right through it. The president isn't authentic, but he's good at playing the part. He takes rural America for granted. How I got into the world's most exclusive club is not an ordinary story. Many politicians are quick to distance themselves from the distinction of being a politician. I never feel compelled to do that because I am and always will be a farmer, like my folks and like my grandparents. In fact, I'm the only U.S. Senator who manages a full-time job outside the Senate, as a farmer. Every spring, I spend at least 2 weeks planting, and every August, I spend at least 3 weeks harvesting. I maintain my own heavy equipment and deliver my wheat in an 18-wheeler. I buy grease by the case and seeds by the ton. I slaughter and butcher my own beef and pork, and other than my wife, Charla, I have no help. The task of scheduling my senatoring work around the inflexible timing of farm responsibilities drives my staff crazy. But they know my farm work is non-negotiable. It keeps me, quite literally, grounded. I still work the same land homesteaded more than a century ago by my grandparents, Arnfrid and Christine Pearson. At the turn of the 20th century, the Pearsons were sold a bill of goods by another wealthy businessman with a penchant for lying, James J. Hill, a railroad tycoon nicknamed the Empire Builder. Hill lured hopeful farmers, including Fred and Christine, to the wild grasslands of north-central Montana.